Alright everybody, so we are back and we're going to continue with this invert pleat. We're going to do this basic invert pleat. There are quite a few variations of this pleat, but we're going to stick to the basics and hopefully we can leave some room for creativity from your side. Yeah, so basic invert pleat, what do we need? So we've already copied the pattern in the class, and your fabric needs to look something like this. You've copied all of the lines over to your fabric, and you have used a dressmaker's pencil to draw these lines so that you can easily wash out or iron away something that's not permanent. In this case I had to use a pen so it's easier for the video, right? So invert pleat, we've copied all the lines over that was originally on the pattern, and we have fold, fold, place, fold, fold, place, and arrows that shows that it's going inward. Yeah, so fold, fold, place. We are folding from the outer side towards the inside. Yeah, it just makes your life easier when you have these lines and the arrows indicating which way you need to fold. Alright, invert pleat, we're going to fold that way. I'm going to turn it this way so it's easier for me to work with the video. So we're going to fold first on our first fold line, and I'm going to finger press it and pressing on the line, and I'm going to fold that way. Yeah, so first fold, second fold, and then the third one is a place line. My focus is to go towards the place line, and when I go towards the place line, the fold line on the underside will automatically fold. Yeah, I'm placing the first fold line right onto the place line, and I'm pressing it flat. At this point in time, you might want to grab your iron and then just iron this flat, making sure that you're right on that fold line, or place line rather. Alright, so the next one is I'm going to turn this around so it's easier for me to get to. So we're going to fold towards the center point. So I'm going to finger press this fold line, and I'm going to go towards the place line in the middle. So I'm just going to push it all the way to the place line, making sure that we are right on that place line. Grab your iron and iron this down. Once you've ironed it down, we are going to do a stay stitch on the top. Assuming that this is our top of our vent or our pleat that we've created, and that is the bottom side, we're going to do what's called a stay stitch across. So a stay stitch is going to be 5mm, and it's just to keep this part of the pleat down, because it's a temporary stitch and we are assuming that this vent or pleat is going into a seam line, which is why we're only sewing it down there. And when we open up the pleat, or at least when you open up these panels, you see a vent, or at least a pleat on the inside. So that's why it's called an invert pleat. Alright everybody, we're gonna jump onto the sewing machine real quick, and we're going to do a stay stitch across. Alright everybody, so we are ready. Here's our vent, or at least invert pleat. We're going to do a stay stitch across. Yeah, so I'm going to lift up my foot, and the stay stitch or temporary stitch is 5mm from the edge of the fabric. Lower your needle into the fabric, and we're not going to do a back tack because it's a temporary stitch. Keep the pleat or these panel pieces flush together, preventing it from moving around when you are stay stitching all the way to the end. Lift up your needle to the highest point, remove the fabric and cut off the thread, and there is our pleat stabilized on the top. And when I open it, there's our invert pleat. Alright, like mentioned, there are many other variations of this vent or pleat where you could potentially sew it down to a certain point and then the invert pleat will open at a certain point, yeah, depending on your design or the customer's preference. But in this case, because it's a basic invert pleat, we're just going to secure the top so that we can have the whole pleat from the top to the bottom. Alright people, I'll catch you guys in the next video.